Welcome to the complete summary of the Millionaire Next Door. In this special series, you'll uncover the surprising truths about America's wealthy, how they really live, spend, and build fortunes quietly, far from the spotlight. Across 10 sections, we'll explore their habits, values, and timeless strategies, showing you how ordinary people create extraordinary freedom. By the end, you'll have a clear roadmap for building wealth in your own life, step by step. The surprising truth about millionaires. Most people carry a picture in their minds of what a millionaire looks like. They imagine someone living in a mansion, driving a shiny new luxury car, wearing expensive suits, and vacationing in exotic locations. Movies, advertisements, and magazines all feed this stereotype. But when researchers Thomas J. Stanley and William Danko began studying America's millionaires, they discovered something entirely different. The typical millionaire was not living on Park Avenue or Beverly Hills. They were quietly building wealth in ordinary neighborhoods, driving pickup trucks or used sedans, and wearing inexpensive clothing. Far from being flashy spenders, they were careful savers. This revelation shocked many readers when The Millionaire Next Door was first published. The book's data showed that more than half of America's millionaires never earned massive six-figure salaries. They often owned small businesses, worked in unglamorous industries, or climbed modest career ladders. What set them apart was not income, but discipline. They lived below their means, invested steadily, and avoided debt. Their balance sheets told the truth about their wealth, even when their lifestyles did not. Perhaps the most important insight is that you cannot spot a millionaire by appearance. The person driving a new luxury SUV may be drowning in debt, while the man in jeans at the hardware store may quietly have millions invested. The flashy spender often struggles financially, while the understated saver quietly builds fortune. This is why the authors describe the wealthy as the millionaire next door. They don't live far away in some exclusive world. They are often your neighbors, blending into communities rather than standing out. Another surprising truth is how consistent these patterns are across different groups. Whether they were self-employed business owners, professionals, or employees, the true millionaires shared certain habits. They budgeted carefully. They avoided lifestyle inflation even as their income grew. They invested early and often. And most importantly, they valued financial independence over social status. They would rather be truly wealthy than merely look wealthy. This finding also challenges cultural myths. Many people assume you need an Ivy League degree, a glamorous career, or a windfall inheritance to become rich. But the research proves otherwise. The vast majority of millionaires were self-made, building their fortunes from scratch. They did not rely on luck or family money. They relied on discipline, consistency, and the courage to live differently from the crowd. The message of this section is both simple and powerful. Wealth is not about appearance, it is about behavior. True millionaires are not who you think they are. They are frugal, disciplined, and often invisible. And their example shows that financial independence is possible for ordinary people who are willing to live with intention. Living frugally. If there is one theme that runs through the lives of millionaires, it is frugality. Contrary to popular belief, they do not spend freely just because they can afford to. In fact, most millionaires are experts at restraint. They budget carefully, shop for value, and live in homes well below what they could afford. Their wealth comes not from extravagant spending, but from disciplined saving and investing. Frugality shows up in countless ways. Millionaires often buy used cars and keep them for many years. They shop at discount stores. They rarely buy designer clothes, expensive watches, or luxury accessories. They do not upgrade their homes just because their income rises. They view every dollar saved as fuel for freedom, not as an opportunity to show off. This discipline is not about being cheap, it is about being deliberate. Millionaires spend heavily on things that truly matter to them, like their children's education or investments in their businesses, but they cut ruthlessly on things that offer only fleeting pleasure or social approval. They ask, does this purchase move me closer to independence, or does it tie me to more debt and stress? That question shapes every decision. Frugality also protects them from one of the biggest wealth destroyers, lifestyle inflation. Many people, as their incomes grow, immediately raise their spending. They buy bigger homes, fancier cars, and more luxuries, leaving them just as financially vulnerable as before. Millionaires resist this temptation. They let their wealth grow quietly in investments while their lifestyles remain modest. The lesson is clear. Wealth is not built by earning more and spending more. It is built by earning, saving, and investing while keeping expenses under control. Frugality is not about sacrifice. It is about freedom. Time, energy, and money. Millionaires know that time and energy are more valuable than money. Money can be lost and regained, but once time and energy are gone, they are gone forever. This awareness shapes how they live and spend. They avoid buying things that drain their time and energy. A massive house requires constant cleaning, repairs, and maintenance. A luxury car demands high insurance, specialized service, and endless worry about damage. These purchases do not just cost money, they steal hours of life. Millionaires prefer simplicity. They choose homes and cars that serve their needs without consuming their freedom. Millionaires also buy back their time. They outsource tasks that do not require their personal attention, whether it is lawn care, bookkeeping, or repairs. This is not laziness, it is efficiency. They would rather use their time to grow businesses, nurture relationships, or rest than to be trapped in chores. They treat time like a scarce resource, investing it where it produces the greatest return. The contrast with high-income professionals is striking. Many doctors, lawyers, and executives earn impressive salaries but sacrifice nearly all their time and energy to maintain them. Their wealth is tied to their labor. If they stop working, the money stops. Millionaires who own businesses or invest wisely understand that real wealth is freedom, the freedom to choose how to use your hours. Status and cars. One of the clearest signs of financial health is how someone approaches cars. Millionaires, surprisingly, are not the ones driving the newest luxury models. In fact, the research showed that most buy used cars and drive them for many years. Cars are seen as tools, not status symbols. Why? Because cars lose value the moment they are purchased. Spending large sums on them is one of the fastest ways to destroy wealth. Millionaires understand depreciation and refuse to sink excessive money into something that rapidly declines in value. They would rather put that money into investments that grow. Meanwhile, many non-wealthy people use cars to project an image of success. They lease luxury vehicles or buy beyond their means, hoping to impress others. But the monthly payments, high insurance, and upkeep quietly drain their finances. They look rich while falling further from independence. Millionaires prove that real success is not about appearances. A reliable car that serves its purpose is enough. They would rather walk into a bank with assets than drive down the street in debt. Section 5. Family and money. Money is not just about the individual. It often shapes entire families. One of the most dangerous patterns identified in the book is what the authors call economic outpatient care. This is when wealthy parents give adult children ongoing financial support, covering bills, gifting down payments, or bailing them out of trouble. While well-intentioned, this practice often cripples the recipients. Instead of learning discipline and independence, adult children become reliant on handouts. They adjust their lifestyles upward, expecting continued support. They do not learn how to budget, save, or build wealth on their own. In the long run, this generosity harms rather than helps. Millionaires who remain wealthy avoid this trap. They may help with education or invest in opportunities, but they resist ongoing financial support. They understand that the greatest gift they can give their children is independence, not dependency. Raising the next generation, teaching children about money, is one of the most important roles millionaires take seriously. They know that without discipline, even inherited wealth will disappear. That's why they raise children with lessons in frugality, work ethic, and independence. Many require their children to work while in school, teaching them the value of earning. They encourage saving and budgeting from a young age. They downplay materialism, refusing to use luxuries as measures of success. And they emphasize education, not necessarily elite schools, but practical learning that leads to useful, marketable skills. The result is that their children often grow into financially responsible adults who continue building wealth rather than destroying it. Millionaires know that raising independent children ensures the family's financial strength lasts beyond one generation. Finding your niche. Another common pattern among millionaires is that they rarely strike it rich in glamorous industries. Instead, they find niches that others overlook. Many run small businesses in areas people take for granted: plumbing, pest control, construction, farming, or auto repair. These fields may not impress outsiders, but they offer steady demand and long-term profitability. By focusing on reliability instead of glamour, millionaires create businesses that thrive for decades. They reinvest profits, expand gradually, and dominate markets with little competition. The lesson is simple. Success often hides in unglamorous places. Millionaires build fortunes where demand is constant, competition is low, and discipline can compound into freedom. Millionaires versus heirs. The final lesson of the book contrasts self-made millionaires with those who inherit wealth. The evidence is clear. Most millionaires are self-made. They built their fortunes through discipline, frugality, and hard work. They value independence and freedom because they know what it took to earn them. Heirs, on the other hand, often struggle. Those who inherit without discipline may squander wealth through overspending, poor planning, or dependency. They did not develop the habits that create wealth, so they rarely maintain it. By the second or third generation, much inherited money disappears. The true millionaire mindset, then, is not about how much you are given, but about how you think, spend, and live. Wealth is built, preserved, and passed on through discipline, not luck. The Millionaire Next Door is proof that ordinary people, through extraordinary habits, can achieve financial independence and freedom. Common traits of millionaires. When researchers look deeper at the data, they notice something striking. Despite coming from different backgrounds, careers, and industries, millionaires shared a set of common traits that separated them from the majority. These traits weren't about luck, genius, or connections. They were about mindset and behavior. The first is discipline. Millionaires consistently demonstrated the ability to delay gratification. They resisted the urge to spend money just because they had it. They stuck to budgets, invested steadily, and avoided debt traps. While others chased instant pleasure, they focused on long-term goals. The second is independence. Millionaires are comfortable making their own choices, even if they go against the crowd. They don't care if neighbors or coworkers look down on their modest homes or simple cars. They know appearances don't build freedom. This independence extends to their thinking. They question cultural assumptions and create their own definitions of success. The third is focus. Millionaires devote time and energy to the areas that matter most. They cut distractions, avoid wasting time, and concentrate on building businesses, growing investments, and strengthening families. They are not scattered in 100 directions. They are strategic about where their energy goes. Finally, millionaires share resilience. Many of them face setbacks, business failures, recessions, or personal struggles. But they learned, adapted, and tried again. Wealth was rarely built in a straight line. It came through persistence, patience, and the refusal to quit when things got tough. These traits combined show that millionaire success is not about luck or talent, it's about character. Anyone willing to adopt these behaviors can walk the same path. Section 10. Key lessons for your life. At the end of The Millionaire Next Door, the lessons are clear. Wealth is not a mystery. It is not reserved for the lucky or the privileged. It is built by ordinary people who make extraordinary choices over time. The first lesson is that wealth is about behavior, not appearance. Don't judge financial success by cars, houses, or vacations. Judge it by freedom, security, and independence. The second lesson is that frugality is the foundation. No matter how much you earn, you cannot build wealth without controlling spending. Live below your means and let savings and investments compound. The third lesson is to protect your time and energy. Use money as a tool to buy freedom, not as a way to buy more obligations. Avoid possessions that drain your life and invest in choices that give you more control over your days. The fourth lesson is to think long-term. Millionaires don't chase get-rich-quick schemes. They make patient, disciplined decisions that compound year after year. Wealth is the result of decades of good habits, not sudden luck. And finally, the fifth lesson, teach independence. Whether for yourself or your family, the greatest gift is self-sufficiency. Avoid the trap of dependency, whether it's on jobs, credit cards, or relatives. Build a life where freedom comes from your own discipline and decisions. The Millionaire Next Door shows us that wealth is not about being extraordinary. It's about being consistent, intentional, and free from the illusions of status. Anyone can build it. The only question is, are you willing to live differently from the crowd to achieve it, key or talent? It's about character. Anyone willing to adopt these behaviors can walk the same path. And that concludes our full summary of the Millionaire Next Door. You've learned the habits, the mindsets, and the disciplines that separate true millionaires from those who only look rich. Remember, wealth is not about luck or appearances. It's about consistent choices, discipline, and the pursuit of freedom. If you found this helpful, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss more insights on money, mindset, and building the life you deserve.